Hey there, welcome back to the Scaling Deep podcast. I am your host, Lisa Princik, membership expert and business strategist, and I'm back with another topic to help you figure out your membership, your dream program, the one that will allow you to earn monthly recurring revenue with all the flexibility you need to get your life back. Because that is the critical piece. We're all in this, well, a lot of us are in this so that we can have a way more freedom and flexibility in our lifestyle. But sometimes we're just stumped at our membership idea, or we're questioning it. We had it, we loved it for a while, and then we either started to doubt it for whatever reason. Somebody planted a seed of doubt in our mind, or we just started to look around and feel nervous, or maybe we even launched it and tried to get it out to the world and it didn't sell as well as we thought. So if you're in any of those situations, it will really help you to think about how to narrow it down further and make it more specific so that it's more clear. And clarity is appealing to people when they can actually get a sense of what it is that you do. So let's talk about several ways that we can narrow down our membership idea and make it stronger, okay? So the first way is to think about what is the problem of the people who we'd really like to serve. So what is it that they tend to say when they come to work with you or they are drawn to you? Like, what are they saying about the problem that they have? How are they describing it? And what do they truly want? So really starting to get in the mindset, like in the headspace of your ideal member or client. Now, you might not know exactly what that is yet, but there are definitely some people you've probably done some work with in the past that you're like, this is the kind of person that not only needs my help the most, but they do the work. Because sometimes the people who need your help the most aren't necessarily the ones that are committed to doing the work. And then that's challenging because they don't get results, and then you don't start to feel really successful. And then it goes from there. So I want you to think about who is really that person that you have helped in the past, and what were they saying when you first started working together? What were they complaining about? What was going on for them? And how do they see their problem? Because knowing how they see their problem is a big part of it. Because someone may have a problem, but they see it in a different way. And if you are, say, connecting their marketing problem to a mindset problem, whereas a marketing person might connect it to a actual knowledge issue, like you aren't doing this properly, and someone else who could solve the same problem, and there's marketing, there's mindset, and someone else might say, well, you actually have an offer problem, like you're not selling anything that anyone can see the value of it. So there's different ways to uncover the problem of your ideal client, and you need to get really clear on what that is, and then how you identify the problem, like how you communicate that to them, because they might not relate to the way you're communicating it, and they also might not be the right people for you, because you might not want to solve, say, a marketing problem with marketing knowledge. You might not want to solve it with mindset knowledge, and you might not want to solve it by helping them improve their offer. You know how you show up best and what part of the work that you do best and what your specific membership is meant to do. So getting clear on how to help those people with that thing and your way of doing it is going to really be useful in helping people distinguish why your solution is better suited to them than someone else's. So again, I talked a little bit about your solution, but this also starts with looking at the problem, because if you're not identifying their problem for them or helping them see it your way, you're not demonstrating your opinion on what solution really involves. Because you need to prove it, right? You need to prove yourself. You can't just say, hey, you need this thing. You need this thing. They need to know why they need this thing. And you need to explain it clearly to them. And you start explaining it by also talking about what isn't working right now and why it's not working well for them. So that is one critical piece to narrowing. It just adds that relatability without having to be super specific on what you do for them, okay? Still though, that piece is important. So if you're struggling also to sell your membership or can't figure out the idea, what is that big solution you want to get for them? Now, this is when, still going back to that ideal client or member, you look at what are the big results that you've gotten for people that excite you the most? Because, truthfully, the broader the goal that you hope to help people with, the harder it's going to be to sell it. Because if it really is an all things to all people type of membership, you will be a little less attractive unless people are just super fans, right? And yes, the super fans are great. And I hope you've built some up. And those are the people who will buy probably right away because they'll just trust you and like you and know you. But there comes a time where you're going to try to get that out to more and more people and further afield who've just met you or need more time to get to know someone. And you need to let them know that you are offering something that can truly help them. And getting more narrow on what that is, for example, they could not have to lose 50 pounds. They could get more into their body, but it doesn't have to be as specific as I only help people with this amount or make 6 figures in something. Those are very specific. You don't have to be that clear, but you do need to let them know what you really hope for them. Because if you're saying, well, I want you to improve your offer and I want you to improve your sales and I want you to improve your market, your website, and I want you to get better on social media, you might be able to do all those things. But if you're selling all those things in your messaging, well, what about the person who really wants to improve their offer, but they don't want to go on social? So you're started to lose people a little bit because they are seeing all the things that you'll do and they don't know where to start, because nobody really wants to waste their time in a program either by learning things that they didn't think they wanted to learn or didn't know they need to learn. It's okay to teach them about that once they join. But what you've got to get more clear is that you've got to be able to have like a brand promise where you're saying, this is what I really hope for you to get. And even if the outcome is a little bit general, you should still be able to say it in a sentence. Like, this is what I hope you'd achieve. And you need to be able to run that line by people, anyone, people in your life, even friends, family, not to say that they're always the best people, but anyone else. And they should be able to get it. They may not want it or may not totally understand it completely, but they should be able to get it. And if you're saying something that is too general or vague, people's eyes are going to glaze over and they're going to be like, I don't really understand what that means at all. Then, it's too general, too vague. So it can't just be grow a business. It can't just be fulfilled and happy and loved. Like, it has to be how. There has to be some methodology in that gives them a sense of why it would work, because a lot of people don't just want to buy something on a hope and a prayer. Like, oh, that sounds exciting, I will go for that, when it sounds a little bit too good to be true, too vague, etc. So that's when your third way of helping you come up with your membership idea can come in, which has to do with your unique way of solving the problem. So what is it about your approach that will help people get their result? So for example, I love to teach people how to set up evergreen enrollment systems in their membership, because I think evergreen sales is an easier foundation to set up and it's a little safer once you get it right. So it still requires work than big launches with closed door memberships when you're relying on that one event to bring in all the revenue you need, and you can never have your doors open for the people who really need it and they're really the most excited to buy from you. So that is something that I specifically teach. Now, it doesn't mean I don't help people figure out their live launches if that's absolutely the best thing for them, but it's not what I rest my brand promise on or talk about in my training that brings people closer to working with me. I mostly talk about how to do it evergreen because I think that's a better way for a lot of people. Not for everyone, but it's what I teach. So if you are all about, I want to learn how to do a membership and I need to do huge launches, yeah, you can go out and learn that later, or you can get started with the basics, but it's not something that I'm going to have other than the founding members launch. I'm not going to go in and teach very complicated live launch systems within my membership, right? So it's just about knowing what it is you passionately believe in or what you're very good at. And that can be your way of helping people get results. So for example, if someone's really into Facebook ads and they're really into the copy part of Facebook ads and they love teaching people the copy. I mean, copy is really important, but if it's more important for them to teach how to write the hooks and the copy and less about playing inside the algorithm and figuring out all the technical details, they're going to draw in a different person, somebody who's like, oh, this is my big pain point. So knowing the unique process that you have is going to help them understand that you have a methodology. And if that methodology really turns them off, then that's okay. Then you are not bringing in those people and you also can trust that if that turns them off, then someone else is really excited about your methodology because it's including something that more resonates with them. So those are several ways that you can take your membership idea, take your skill set, and bring it down to something that's a little more narrow. And that will also help you start to identify who that right person is for your membership. Is it somebody who has, hardly any experience in something, or do they have a bit more experience and you're just taking them a little bit further? Are they at a certain point in their life that's different than just being like, anyone, I'll help any woman or any man do this thing or any person do this thing? Is there an age group? Is there something specific about what you do? Again, not to make it disingenuous, not to make it just random, but is it just a consistent thing that people at this phase of their life need? You just start to narrow it down because that is going to help you get more specific and more appealing to people, because you are going to have a harder time getting results when you've got to produce endless amounts of content on everything under the sun. Someone the other day asked me if I had lead magnet training inside my membership, and I'm like, oh, I don't actually, because most people who come to me have some experience with lead magnets, and that's the kind of person who's at a better place to scale their business with a membership if they've already done one before. They don't have to have a million. They don't have to have one that's just knocking it out of the park that's doing so well, because we can also work on that, but they do need to have some experience creating them, because it's not as focused for me to have really brand new to business trainings inside my membership program, because I don't want it to get too cluttered with too many things. When I've got people with 100-person memberships inside my program and just starting out, but then at least I can narrow the knowledge and the trainings that I do bring into it all the time to things that are going to be more relevant to the bulk of people, rather than getting sort of too all over the place and then not really appealing to anyone. So that's a good way to get clear. So I just wanted to share those with you today, because I know that a lot of people stumble around and stall and are kind of afraid to put them out there because they don't really know that their offer has clarity, because the membership container itself is so broad in terms of what you deliver and how you deliver it. Like, you can show up every other week or once a month live, or you can just do content and chats. Like, you can just do trainings and how-tos, or you can do mentoring and coaching, or you can have lots of group and community breakout stuff. There's so many ways to do it that I want that to be the complexity, not the value proposition of it. Because that complexity you'll figure out over time, like your strengths, your zone of genius, what members love, what you love, and then you'll start to give them the right amount. And that's what I really help people figure out. But in terms of the idea itself, I want it to be as narrow as you can make it, so that you can get super focused and feel really confident that people will get it and be excited about it. And then you can do your awesome work in the world. Okay. So hope that was helpful for you. Thanks for being here. If you haven't joined my membership method workshop yet, you can hop into that. It is a live workshop where you can show up and ask me all the questions you want about your membership and learn more about how to structure it and what kind of content and how to sell it and all that stuff in more detail. So that you can find at scalingdeep.com/method. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you real soon.